So the state of California had a big primary election 2 days ago. Who won? Who's in the lead? Here's the problem. We don't know. Well, Bill, I don't live in California. That's not a big issue. That doesn't affect me. Oh, it affects you now. Now this is a national voting disgrace. And I mean this seriously. If the kind of hijinks that are going on so far continue and something really bad happens as far as the leading populist candidates get screwed over on this, this may be, I mean this may be the biggest persuasive argument ever for most normal people paying attention to things for voter ID and a national voter ID law for cities, counties, and states. This may actually happen because it's just preposterous what's going on. We were all outraged with Trump, right, in 2020 with the Trump-Biden thing. Man, these votes are coming in hours after the polls closed. That was hours. You know what they're talking about in California? What if it was days? What if it was weeks? They're hinting at months to find out what's going on. You know why? Got to keep the mail rolling, right? And now the whole world is paying attention to it because of these particular candidates. Most people in California, LA, weren't paying attention, but these two guys who are doing very well, and we all know the story. We all know Spencer Pratt. We all know Steve Hilton now that's going on out there. Even if you're not a Californian, it's because they have this, I hate to use this term, they have this vibe going on where normal people who normally don't vote are paying attention. They're paying attention to this voting issue, which you and I were paying attention to years ago. It's a fascinating thing. And yes, this is a national story now. We'll get into it. Thanks for finding me. Appreciate you. Wicked Radio live stream Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on X and YouTube and Facebook, and then the replay on there whenever you want. You can also listen wherever you want on the audio podcast. Well, we all know Spencer Pratt, right? He's got national headlines. This became the national story. They all tried to attack him. They all tried to say, well, you're a reality star. And he had the greatest comeback of all time. We talked about this. He said, yeah, I was a reality TV show participant when I was 20. And his response was, you know what my opponent, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass, was doing when she was 20? She was in Cuba working for the communists. That was the greatest comeback of all time. And it woke a lot of people up. We know him, and we know we'll talk about Steve Hilton, the governor's candidate here in just a second. But here was Spencer after the results, which looked pretty good. Now he wants to, you also remember he destroyed Karen Bass and the ramen lady, the other one who's falling off the charts in the debate. He wants to debate her every Friday night now. Another great idea.
Are you going to debate Karen Bass again? And what do you want to tell her if she sees this?
You know, I love debating her on NBC. I look forward to a couple more on NBC and Fox. We can do debates every Friday if she would like, because this actually became my most favorite thing to do. So
it went so well for him that he wants to do it every Friday night. That's different for a candidate. Usually when they get a win, they're like, we don't need 2 more debates. That's reaching people. But then you have in the gubernatorial race, also known as the governor's race, Steve Hilton, the ex-English guy. He's now an American citizen. You can run for a mayor of California governor there if you're naturalized. He's also got this vibe going in that race. But again, we don't know the votes, but he's looking good too.
The words are, change is coming. And I think change is coming to California, and you're seeing that in the results that we're seeing tonight. People are done with the 16 years of Democrat policies that have given us the highest poverty rate, highest unemployment rate, highest cost of living in the country, the crime, the chaos, the homelessness, you know the list. And
they both have this, and again, I hate to use this term, but it's the best way to describe it. Term my kids use all the time and other people in their 20s. They got this vibe. What's the vibe? What are the vibes? What are the vibes like? Those two have vibes. Why does it matter? Oh, it's a silly thing. We're talking about serious issues. No, we're not. Vibes matter to people who actually vote, people that have never voted before. And California, LA specifically, is the perfect example of this because you got a lot of people who are more into vibe than what's going on in their city. That's how they got into this mess with poop on the street and needles and naked fentanyl addicts around the place and the crime and the city burning down with Pacific Palisades. That's how you get into this because the vibe people weren't paying attention. They're paying attention now. And that's the thing. But how do they know? They're lost now and they're paying attention to this. They're like, hold on a second. We had watch parties. We voted for Spencer Pratt. Maybe even some of them said we voted for this Steve Hilton guy. We want to know in this convoluted voting system they have. Well, did they win? Because all my friends, they all voted for him. They don't know. And for the first time ever, they're understanding what kind of voting hijinks go on because these same people weren't paying attention to 2020, what the rest of us were paying attention to. What is it? How long is it going to take? Here's CNN on election night, 2 days ago.
Remember, the final piece of the puzzle that we won't know tonight, right, is the late arriving vote by mail. And we're talking about probably like a third of the vote in Los Angeles. We're probably not going to be getting until tomorrow and maybe days to come after tomorrow. The mail can still come in after Election Day. And there's indications, and there's certainly a ton of precedent here, that that late arriving vote by mail is going to be significantly more Democratic friendly than all of the other vote, meaning.
So you get, okay, that's the LA vote. You got Spencer Pratt coming in as strong. He's got like 30% or something in this weird system of they vote out there. We'll get into in a second. About 30%, but as the more mail comes in, it's going down and down and down. And always, you ever notice this? National elections or state too, the mail-in vote, it only goes one way. Isn't that interesting? That's the first thing that should raise a red flag with you. All right, more on this convoluted, bizarre voting system they have out there and the obvious hijinks about letting it last for weeks. I'm not the biggest Laura Ingraham fan on Fox, but she had a great breakdown on how they do it in California. Here she was just the other night.
This convoluted jungle primary system, the top two finishers, as you may remember, face off in November. Now, given that 8.2 percentage points separate Hilton from Steyer, one would think that Hilton's a shoo-in, right? Oh, not so fast. Because in California, the vote counting can go on for not days, but weeks after the final polls close. The California Secretary of State issued a press release to this effect yesterday, reminding everyone that California counties have about 2 weeks, 13 days to be exact, to count all of their ballots. 13 days. And the man who spent $200 million on his own lackluster campaign, only to come in third on election night, feels, for that, optimistic.
It might take some time to figure out where this is going. We're going to wait till every ballot is counted. We're going to give democracy a time.
Tom Steyer, did you hear that? They're telling the entire world what it is. Because of the late arriving, and I'm not just talking about hours late, I'm talking about weeks. We'll get into that in a second. They're so confident because of the late arriving vote. They're telling you. He said in a press conference, in a vote party there, he said to your face, to everybody's face, we're going to let democracy speak. We're going to let these votes roll in. In other words, keep on counting until you get the number you want. This is so freaking crooked. Everybody knows it now. Everybody. They're talking to, okay, the California officials like Laura Ingraham quoted there, couple of weeks. It may take a couple of weeks. Oh, it's not just weeks. Oh, forget about that. That's just before they start to do the recounts. I'd add another week for a recount. That's usually what it takes. And that's before the lawyers get involved. Then you can have lawyers from all teams. They have 3 candidates in this whole thing. In both of these races, they're going to get involved. Got to add another couple of weeks for that. I mean, you're talking billable hours here. They have to get in there. This could take months to decide. And this is why this is a national issue. It was anyway, but now people are paying attention. Remember I was talking about the vibe check with these two? English guy Steve Hilton running for governor. Yes, even he, businessman, has a vibe going on about him. People are behind him. Something fascinating is happening with this that the media is trying to cover up. Out there, specifically, LA news media. They're having interactive conversations with people in the most unlikely places, mostly because social media is everywhere. Tell me who this reminds you of. This used to happen all the time. Not this close, but this used to happen in the early rallies with then just candidate Trump. You had a lot of people in the crowds. And remember, if you look back in 2015 campaign cycle leading into 2016, this used to happen to Trump a lot. People would shout out things, always in support. They would try to get close to him and say, we're getting close to you, and he would react to him. The early Trump rallies were like interactive. He would shout out to the crowd. They would shout out to him. Look at Steve Hilton was at the airport the other day, and a guy came up to him. A little scary they can get that close, but a guy came up to him showing his support. This doesn't happen unless you have that vibe I was talking about here.
All right, hi everyone. It is the morning after a very, very good night. It does look like change really is coming to California. We are
going to do it. This is our new governor, and I'm telling you right now, this is the man to vote for. He is honest. He is for the people.
okay.
And
They already voted.
Oh, they did.
It's looking good.
Okay. Okay.
But it's great to see.
Hey, it's great to see you, Steve. No, thank you.
A random guy, thankfully a supporter, I wasn't trying to attack the guy, showing his support, jumping on his video with his campaign there. That doesn't happen unless you have this, I'm going to use the word again, vibe going on, right? You want to talk about vibe? Spencer Pratt has that going all day long. Now, I saved this for last to send to you the greatest clip on the internet right now. Partying, sure, I'll give you this. Drunk Spencer Pratt supporters on Tuesday night partying, and a street reporter from NBC is there talking to them. And once they started talking about issues like this one guy you'll hear right here, she walked away and shut them right up. But they weren't having it. Again, remember that vibe thing and tie that into these voting hijinks that are going on. These people aren't going to have it. Listen to these folks. This is the greatest clip.
Because he's speaking out against communism and socialism, and it is a real big problem in our cities, especially in LA where it's turned to crap. It's not an accident. They're doing it by design. Karen Bass wants to destroy our city, and it's nice to see someone like Spencer Pratt.
I can simplify it because those buzzwords are like they melt the brains of like left, leaning people. So let's just say it this way: he doesn't want human feces to be a part of your life. Yeah. He doesn't want homeless children outside.
Totally.
Homeless
Thank
people
you.
outside. Oh,
We
you
have-
didn't
no.
like that.
We have-
She ran away.
We
He doesn't want homeless people outside of
we
the elementary
appreciate
schools
you.
having
Can I get a
sex
shout out real
with
quick?
their
We
own
appreciate
hands
you.
in front of the children.
We appreciate you.
I-
We've
I-
talked a
I
lot
don't
about the
appreciate
homelessness.
you.
Thank
I
you.
don't appreciate
All right.
you.
That dude, okay, obviously partying drunk. Fine, that's what it was, a watch party. That's, whatever. Hopefully he wasn't driving home. As soon as he started talking issues, she walked away. Why does it matter? Because those guys, those dudes on the street partying, and the Steve Hilton fan at the airport, when those people, normal everyday people who normally don't get involved, they're involved now out there. Pretty similar to what's going on with the rest of the country. When they see the voting hijinks go on, when it's going on for not weeks, possibly months, they are going to be outraged, and it's starting to happen already. This is why it's a national issue. They're trying to keep people away from this, but everybody is waking up. If this turns out to be, and let's hope it doesn't become some national voting embarrassment from the state of California, good chance it will be. It may be the biggest endorsement of all time for cleaning up our voting rolls, not just nationally, but every state, every county, and every city. It may happen, but let's hope it doesn't even get to that point. All right. I'm out of here. Got to get out of here. Got stuff to do. So do you. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio, the live stream Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on X, YouTube, and Facebook, and the replay there. An audio podcast, wherever you like to find those. Thanks so much for doing that so much these days. I really appreciate you. Whew. Keep an eye on California. I know. You're busy in your life, but it does affect you. Do that vibe check. Make it a Wicked Awesome Thursday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.